Hello and welcome to this video on making absinthe. This is an alcoholic beverage we have previously described. The unusual history, bold claims, and strong alcohol content have given it an air of mystery, illicitness, and something of an allure if you are a rebel. This may explain its resurgence in the 90s. The reality is somewhat more mundane when it comes to absinthe. Unless you consume more than half a litre of the stronger absinthe, you're unlikely to see any effects. Those effects are not very appealing, despite that being perhaps the major draw of absinthe. The effects you will find are related to the ability to focus, visual acuity, and attention span. At extremely high doses, it's possible to also have effects on muscle control. Absinthe relies on three main ingredients: anise, wormwood, and fennel. You can also add angelica, marjoram, coriander, cardamom, and a few other herbs and spices. You will need a spirit base such as vodka or white grape spirits to make absinthe. Depending on what you have available, vodka may work, but you'll need to do a few extra steps to make sure you get the best results possible. For our recipe, we are using the basic 3 example herbs to demonstrate how to make absinthe. You need 50 grams of wormwood, 50 grams of anise seeds, 10 grams of star anise, 5 grams of fennel seeds, and 2 litres of your spirit of choice. Begin by breaking up and blending the herbs. This means you should have leaves that are broken down to a pulp. Anything that's like a seed or a pod should be crushed until it's almost like a powder. It's better to do this individually for each herb that you are using. That way you can blend them later to get the profile that you want, and you also know what ratios to use. You could also extract the botanical and aromatic flavors from each herb individually in its own spirit base and blend these to create a ratio. But for now, we will show you how to make absinthe with a more traditional approach. Begin by adding your herbs to a large bottle or other glass container. Now add your spirit base. You'll now need to shake to mix it. The next step is mundane and boring: waiting. It can take up to 3 months to extract all of the desired flavors. This can be sped up by heat and movement. What you're after is a cool, dark environment. This is slower, but you get a more consistent extraction. What you have now is very close to an infusion, and it will need to be filtered before you put it into a still for distillation. You need to distill it for the first time, and it is like whiskey and other flavored spirits. You need to take 2 runs at this: a stripping run and a run that actually is going to make a product that you'll be drinking. The first run will turn your dark brown infusion towards green. It also removes some of the most bitter elements of the absinthe, and many low-quality absinthe products will stop at this point. It's a distinction and one worth noting if you're looking to see how the products compare. Another effect of this is that it begins to concentrate the alcoholic content. You can get a much higher alcohol content doing this, and it can be improved on using a better column still setup, or if you initially want an alembic still followed by a pot still. After this, you run it as you would any pot distillation. We have a video on how to do this, so check the top right hand corner of this video. You will find the content is specific to making whiskey, but the steps involved are the same. The second distillation is where this will become important. You will create a series of fractions that you can blend to your preference. Remember to discard the initial head and the tail. These will have both methanol and other lower wines in the head that you want to get rid of, and the tail will have undesirable products like fusel oils. You should end up with a reasonable range of fractions with differing peak concentrations of different content. This could be more of the wormwood prothions or more of the flavours from fennel. Each of them can be added and balanced to make a more desirable product. From this, you can then go back to your initial ratios and figure out what you need more of or less of to create a more uniform product. The end result of your initial run will be up to 40% alcohol by volume. After the second run, it could be up to 80%. With that in mind, you may wish to dilute the end products with water. This can be done using a simple ratio. Absinthe is relatively easy to make. The challenge will be making it to suit the taste that you prefer. What things do you want more of or less of? Do you need to start including other herbs that are going to alter that profile to make it more palatable? What can you do to make it more interesting? Remembering, absinthe has no definitive definition in just about every jurisdiction. This means you can make of it what you want for the most part. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please post any comments, questions, or suggestions you have below.